Hi guys, it's Mike with the School of Self Reliance. Today we're going to talk about knives. I've been getting a lot of requests to do a knife video, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that makes a good knife and some of the different stuff that's out there. I've just got a few basic examples of knives here. These are all my own personal stuff and stuff that we sell in the store. So we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to talk about the knives, and we're going to go from basic quality all the way up to some super high quality stuff. Alright, here we've got a K-bar. Everybody should recognize a basic K-bar. This one has a different blade design. They quit making a few years ago. It's my own personal. You can tell it's been used a lot. I've taken it to the field a whole bunch of times. But the K-bar is about at the bottom end of what I consider to be a really functional tool. I accept them. I like them. They've been around for a long time. 1095 high carbon steel blade, Creighton handle, Kydex sheath. The coatings do scratch off a little bit, but so what? It is a full tang knife, meaning that the blade is one solid piece running all the way back into here. You can see it in the butt cap where it comes through, and then it's pinned through the butt cap. All knives that you buy should be full tang knives if they're going to be a really good functional field tool. This one, the pommel can be used as a hammer, and I kind of like that about the K-bars. You know, a lot of people will bitch and complain and say that a K-bar, you know, they'll break, they're easily broken. I've never really found that to be true. I don't think they're easily broken. I think that a lot of side load, using them as crowbar or something, using them to pry, and you can break them pretty easily. But if you use it within its design parameters and understand that it does have a little bit of a limitation here and there, it makes a really good functional tool. They've been used for years and years and years by this country in our military service, so you know, and they prove to be a good tool. For $70 or thereabout is what you pay for a K-bar. If you've only got $70, you could do a lot worse than this knife. You know, this thing has a good heat treat on the blade, which that's important. Good heat treating is very important. If it's too heat treated too much to higher Rockwell, it will be brittle. If it's not heat treated enough, it will be soft. Either one doesn't lead to good things. One leads to a broken knife, and the other one leads to a knife that won't take an edge. So, you know, good heat treating by a decent company. But that's the K-bar. Next in line, we've got a British MOD knife, or Ministry of Defense. This again, 1095 high carbon steel. It's a good solid tool. This thing's 1/4 of an inch thick. Full tang, goes all the way around the width and length of the handle. So this is just a nearly indestructible piece of kit. I hear some people talk about this and say it's more crowbar than it is knife. Well, it will survive being used as a crowbar, but properly sharpened, these knives will split hairs. They will do a lot of work. They've been used by the British Ministry of Defense, Royal Marine Corps, and everyone else for, you know, since World War II. Back then they had wooden handles. Now they've got a fiber resin handle that's black. It's a pretty comfortable knife to use. It's more than long enough, in my opinion, and certainly heavy enough. But this really is a tool for life. This thing's not going to break. If you bust it, I'll really want to know how. But again, properly heat treated, good knife. I hate the sheath that it comes with. It's a crappy leather bolstered sheath that's terrible. So I replaced it with a Spec Ops sheath. And these knives, though, they're available for, you know, $130 to $150 depending on where you get them. They're well worth it. I consider them up there with the SE Model 5 just on strength and durability. I think they're an excellent knife for that money, and they certainly will do any job that you ask them to do. Next up, we've got a Tops knife. Now Tops, a lot of people haven't heard of them, but people who are in the know have. These are excellent knives. They are a step below custom handmade knives, but they're mass produced. Tops and Essie, and I wish I had an Essie product here in this display, but I consider Tops and Essie to be right up there side by side with each other. Very good heat treat. It's a 1095 high carbon blade. Now this particular knife, this is a smaller knife for skinning and building traps and, you know, finer work. Linen Micarta handles, 1095, full tang. Tops does an excellent heat treat on these knives. The linen micarta, the only thing I don't like about linen micarta is that it soaks up oil and it soaks up blood, things like that. So if you were skinning an animal with this, you would get some blood down in here and it would be soaked up in the fiber. You'd have to clean that off, otherwise it'd start to rot and get some bacteria and stuff growing inside there. Best way to clean linen micarta is with Windex window cleaner and some paper towels. If you're in the field, hot water will do. But linen's been used, linen and canvas micarta have been used for years and years and years on knife handles, and it's a very durable, very comfortable material to use. So I don't have any problems with linen micarta, and I certainly don't have any problems with the 1095 high carbon blades. Again, Tops or Essie, great companies. Buy any of their stuff. Next up, we've got a blackjack knife. Blackjack has been in business for a long time. Companies traded hands several times, but they've always made some really nice stuff in my opinion. This particular knife is made out of A2 tool steel. Tool steels are steels that are meant for tooling. They're meant to cut other steels. So they're very abrasion resistant, very shock resistant, very wear resistant. I've heard a lot of people say that tool steel knives, that they take a long time to sharpen. Well, they don't take a long time. I've found that they do take a little extra effort to get the edge on them, but then they hold the edge 4 or 5 times longer than a normal knife made out of 1095. So if you're only spending 5 extra minutes on the sharpening stone to get an edge on it, and you don't have to sharpen it for 4 times as long, I think you're actually saving in the end. This is a linen micarta handle. It's been sealed with a lacquer, so it won't absorb anything. It's a very comfortable knife. It is 1/4 of an inch thick, full tang design. It's got plenty of guard in front of it, so you're not going to slip if you're stabbing. Believe it or not, even when wet, this material seems to be, provide a good grip surface. Now, this knife isn't very tactical. Although it is a traditional military design, it's not really tactical. It doesn't have its BDUs on like the rest of these do. But from a bushcraft perspective, or even a combat perspective, this is a really good knife, except that it is a little blingy. But from a bushcraft perspective, this knife will do any job that any SE5 or anything else would do for you. And it will do it very well. The leather sheaths that they come with are first quality. They're excellent. The knives themselves, I really can't say enough good things about them. This one has rendered me good service, and all the other ones I've ever have rendered me excellent service as well. So blackjack, tool steel knives, whether they're blackjack or pretty much anybody, they're usually more expensive. Usually 50-60% more expensive than a 1095 knife. Are they worth it? Well, I suppose it's from your perspective. Me personally, I like things to be durable. I like them to be long-lasting. I like to buy tools for life. And the MOD knife, any of the Tops knives, or any of these tool steel knives are going to be tools for life. You're going to buy them once. And if you're like me, you're too poor to be cheap. I don't like to have to spend money 2 or 3 times on gear. I like to buy a piece of gear just once and keep it and have it be high quality enough that it's going to last forever. And any of these types of things are. So blackjack, good company to consider, and there's a lot of other tool steel products out there too. Last but not least is this knife. Now, this is a knife of my own design. It was built for me by a custom knife maker who's been doing this for about 37 years. It was properly heat treated at a normal heat treating company. We have these cryogenically treated. Cryo treatment draws in the molecules over a period of time, and then it lets them expand at the exact same rate. Well, that makes the metal very abrasion resistant, very tough, very durable, as tough as it can be. This particular one is a School of Self Reliance knife. Like I said, it's my design. I happen to like 7-inch bladed knives or bigger. I like them for their chopping force. Some people say that a 5 or 6-inch bladed knife is probably all the knife you'll ever need, and it might be. For me, when I'm getting ready to build a shelter in a hurry and I'm cutting through saplings, I like to be able to go through them in one stroke and get my material done with the least amount of effort. But I also recognize that, bigger knives don't work very well for small work. So with this one, I put in this very pronounced finger choil. And it's so that I can choke up on the knife and come in like this, and what I've actually got now to do fine work is more like a 5-inch bladed knife. But when I need it, I can come back here like this, and I've got a chopping device, you know, with good heft to do the work. So I've got kind of the best of both worlds. But this knife is made of A2 tool steel. We also make it in 1095 high carbon, and we make it in D2 tool steel. It'd be your choice if you'd order one. The handle material is G10, which is a polypneumatic resin. Kind of like fiberglass, only a lot stronger, a lot more water resistant, and so on. The camo pattern is of my own choosing. The knife, again, the tool steels, it's your choice. Me personally, I went with the tool steel on this one. But the G10, I tend to like it. It's very grippy even when it's wet. It doesn't absorb blood, it doesn't absorb water or things like that, so I tend to like it. Again, full tang construction, you know, so that you've got a good sturdy knife, you know, that's not going to break on you. And that's one of the other keys with these things. And there's a lot of other knives out there. I thought I would just run you through a couple of them and some of the basics that make for good knives. You know, you want a knife that's 1095 high carbon or one of the tool steels. You want something that's properly heat treated. You want it to be from a decent manufacturer. And if you don't know, you know, when you're thinking about buying something, go online, do the research. There's a lot of information, a lot of reviews out there on most of the products that are available. And certainly, you're watching this, YouTube has a video for everything. So, you know, consider that when you're buying a knife and what makes a quality knife and what doesn't. I'm Mike, and thanks for watching.